This is something that I generally can't get my head around. I don't understand the implications of it. I'm going to talk about it publicly here because I would like to shed some light on it because I'm hoping somebody can explain it. One reason I think it's not getting more attention is that I think nobody really understands why it's happening. But I do think it requires some scrutiny. But a basic question is this. Why, with 49 days left in office, is President Trump stacking the top ranks of the Pentagon with, forgive me, a bunch of junior-level screwballs? You'll recall that Trump ousted his defense secretary by tweet less than a week after the election. He then put a new guy in charge of policy at the Pentagon who says President Obama is a terrorist leader. He then installed 3 different guys who were at the heart of that whole thing where Trump said Obama wiretapped Trump Tower. 3 junior staffers who made up the heart of that whole debacle are now the chief of staff at the Pentagon, the top legal counsel at the NSA, and the chief of intelligence at the Pentagon. And that last guy, the new Pentagon intelligence chief, all of 34 years old, he's now not only the Pentagon's intelligence chief, he's also in charge of, well, you can't quite believe it. Trump's new last-minute lame duck defense secretary appointee just changed the structure of the military so that special operations, think like Navy SEALs, they all now report to that 34-year-old guy. And now that 34-year-old guy, the junior staffer who's running the Pentagon's intelligence operations and special ops, his name is Ezra Cohen, now he's just been given even more responsibility. The Trump administration has now suddenly and without warning ousted the head of the Defense Department's Defeat ISIS task force. This is an intelligence officer who's worked counterterrorism jobs in the U.S. government for 2 decades. His whole Defeat ISIS office has been disbanded, and his responsibilities have been handed over to Trump's brand new junior-level appointees, Ezra Cohen and the Obama is a terrorist leader guy. Those guys are taking over the responsibilities from the guy who was running the operations against ISIS? The official that Trump just fired, the head of the Defeat ISIS task force, the Times notes that his office was, quote, in the midst of answering dozens of questions from the incoming Biden administration about the status of terrorist threats, relations with allies, and counterterrorism missions. The elimination of that office, that central hub, will, quote, almost certainly slow the flow of counterterrorism information to Biden transition aides. On top of all this, the Trump administration is also now saying that the annual defense budget should zero out all anti-ISIS work. This, of course, is right on the heels of disbanding the task force that is supposed to be fighting ISIS and ousting its top official. Why is all of this happening in the lame duck? We don't know what the end game here is or why they're going out of their way in the lame duck to make these very, very significant changes that are getting almost no attention. I'm hoping that my next guest may be able to shed some light on what is going on here or what this might mean, at least what to watch for next. Stay with us. Before she became a member of Congress, Alyssa Slotkin served as Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs. She oversaw U.S. policy on Russia, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa in the Obama administration. She has years of defense and intelligence experience. Now, as a member of Congress from the great state of Michigan, Alyssa Slotkin sits on both the Armed Services Committee and the Homeland Security Committee. Congresswoman Slotkin joins us live tonight. Congresswoman, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for making time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So I have been watching with sort of quiet consternation the changes at the top levels of the Pentagon since the election, since Mark Esper was fired as defense secretary just after the election. I spoke with a number of experts, and a couple of them suggested that I talk to you to try to get your take on what you think this might mean or whether you see any sort of rhyme to this reason in terms of what might be behind these changes.
Yeah, well, I think when we see this many removals, it's one of 3 things, right? One, you can always wonder if there's gross negligence, if there's a problem with all of these different folks. I do not believe that's the issue, but that's always a reason why lots of people get fired all at once. Number 2 is because you're trying to clear the obstacles to do something operationally that maybe those folks didn't want you to do and argued against. And number 3 is just pure pettiness. Right, is that, people stood in the way of the president, and on his way out the door, he was going to make the point that if you weren't loyal to him, if you weren't supportive of him, he was going to get rid of you and put in people who were. A lot of arrows point to the last one, pettiness. But we do have to watch out for, what the president might be interested in doing in his last 49 days. And I know there's a lot of people concerned about it. I tend to believe that this is really mostly about pettiness, though, but it does have strategic consequences. Very few people know what the Office of the Secretary of Defense is. It's the civilian part of the Pentagon that provides civilian oversight over the military. It's designed that way. For generations, it's been that way. And when you completely gut an organization and put in people who are just loyalists to the president, it basically sort of undercuts that civilian control. And certainly if you're in a uniformed military, you want to know that the decisions that are being made about operations have real oversight. Someone's really thought through them and thought about the consequences. And there's no way that's going on right now with the folks that they've put in.
The official who was most recently ousted, the head of the Defeat ISIS task force, he's not somebody who's got a high-profile name. It's even the position is not a high-profile thing. Christopher Mayer is his name. But I was struck by the reporting of the New York Times that one of the things that he has been doing is that he's been essentially point person within the Pentagon briefing the incoming Biden folks on counterterrorism matters about ISIS specifically, but also more broadly, and that the Biden transition folks are worried that him being ousted may be some effort to try to basically fluster their ability to get up to speed on counterterrorism matters in a seamless way.
Yeah, I worked closely with Chris Mayer. He's a wonderful civil servant. He's worked for both Democratic and Republican administrations, and I helped him set up the Defeat ISIS task force. So I feel very strongly about his capability, and obviously this is horrible that this is going on for him. I don't know if if the intent was just to make it difficult for the Biden team to get their information. Honestly, particularly since they're also trying to zero out the money for the Defeat ISIS task force and those activities, it feels like the president is trying to burnish his sort of legacy and say, you know what, we took care of ISIS. That was on my watch. We're done with that. And it was more of a symbol in that way. But it's true. I've been a part of 2 transitions now between different administrations, and you need competent people who do the briefings and the updates, who walk you through current threats. And Chris would have been a fantastic person to do that, and it's going to be a big gap that he's gone.
Congresswoman Elissa Slotkin from Michigan, former senior Pentagon official. You are uniquely placed to help us understand the implications of these weird moves. Thanks for helping us understand. I appreciate it.
Thanks.